Hey guys, my name is Katera and I'm the founder of DeStress Life. I'm really excited to be here out on a snowy beach in Connecticut to bring you our first video of 2016, the first of many to come. We here at DeStress Life plan on bringing you lots of really good articles and videos on de-stress tips and techniques. I'll actually be going out to places to talk with experts to actually experience some of these anti-anxiety techniques, and you can kind of watch these videos and look at these articles and piece together what works for you. I know from personal experience, I come from an athletic background, and I know my coaches could tell my teammates and I corrections hundreds and hundreds of times, and for whatever reason it just wouldn't click. And then finally on that 1000th time they would say something just a little bit different, and that would work and that would connect. So some of this may seem a little bit repetitive to you, but I would encourage you to give everything a shot, because when you put your own twist on it, it may just end up working for you. So I want to give you a little bit of a background on me, just so you know why I'm interested in bringing you this kind of content. Basically, I have suffered from anxiety and panic attacks since I was 8 or 9 years old. And I know that feeling of feeling just vastly alone in the middle of the night, not being able to breathe, just not getting oxygen into my lungs. And I remember back in the day, we didn't have the internet right there, easily accessible to open up a laptop and feel connected to something bigger. So I remember going to my middle school library. I don't even know what kind of de-stress life techniques they would have in that library, but I would go. And I remember 2 tips in particular. I tried the breathing in and out of a brown paper bag, which just has never worked for me. And that's fine. You'll find some things here that won't work for you as well, but at least it's giving you ideas. The other technique that I learned was just taking a bunch of heavy books and placing them on top of my chest. And for whatever reason, that did end up working for me a little bit. It was something that I experimented with. But so this is something, I come from a place of empathy and understanding. Everybody's anxiety and stress and depression and points of frustration are different. They're different for everybody, but I just want you to understand that I am coming from that place of empathy. I know what it feels like to be lying awake at 2 in the morning thinking, this is it. I'm not going to make it through the night. I'm not going to see the sunrise, because I don't know if I can get enough air into my lungs. And DeStress Life, we're here to just help support you. We're in a really neat time of technology. It's a blessing and a curse, but in the ability to be able to take out your phone or your laptop in the middle of the night and have access to content like this, I just hope that it makes you feel connected and know that you're not alone in feeling this way. So part of the reason that I'm here out at my beach, I call it my beach out here in Connecticut, is because some of the things that we'll do here at DeStress Life is to get you to think outside the box a little bit, which, that goes a little bit more into our self-development piece of DeStress Life. But I'm a really firm believer in developing yourself further, because a lot of times if we're feeling stressed or frustrated or even depressed, that can come from things just not quite connecting in our life the way that they should be. So if we never take the time to think outside of the box, we may never know what is actually bothering us. So that brings us to the beach here at Connecticut. I did not grow up by the water, and it took me a really long time to get to a place where I could live near the water, but I made it happen. And so I want to kind of start from the beginning. After going to college at University at Buffalo and being in Buffalo for many years, I started realizing that when I was having a really frustrating week of tests and exams, I would gravitate towards water. I would be pulling all of my friends out there. I would go out by myself. I found pretty much every lake and river possible in the Buffalo area, and that should have been a trigger to me then that, hey, water is a really big important part of my life. But it wasn't necessarily. What did I do? I ended up picking up and moving to Queens, New York, right outside of New York City. And I lived there for 2.5 years, and although it was a wonderful experience in many ways, I started feeling like something wasn't quite right. I was looking for parks in the area, and I would find myself in tears when I was going to a playground and I would find pavement instead of green grass that I was used to. And I found it very difficult to find parks that really suited my needs as far as water. Everything was kind of surrounded by parking lots and cars rushing by, and that didn't really sit right for what I need. I come from a writing background, so I do have a little bit of a loner wolf inside of me, and so I really started to feel like I was craving space. So I went to talk to somebody. I'm a really big supporter of therapy in general. I think it's an amazing thing to go and talk to somebody. And while I'm on this topic, I just want to let you guys know I am not a psychologist, so please don't use me as a substitute for a psychologist. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, if you are really going through heavy stuff, I'm here with DeStress Life as a supplement to help get you through. But I am not a psychologist, and I want you to go talk to somebody because I am a really firm believer that they can help. And that's absolutely what happened for me, is that when I went to talk to somebody, I started really taking a step back and thinking, when am I not feeling my best? When am I feeling stressed? And what started to come up was that I was gritting my teeth, I was clenching my shoulders and my neck muscles, and that was happening when I was on subways, when I was trapped in traffic, when I was walking in crowds and I couldn't seem to go the direction that I wanted to go, or when I would go to Central Park and I would be just surrounded by thousands of people when all I wanted was a moment to myself. And what I realized through talking with people and really learning more about myself was that I needed to actually live in a place where I could find a little bit more calming, peaceful nature, a landscape around me, and really give me the solitude that I was craving. So I picked up and I ended up moving out here to Stamford, Connecticut, which is where I am right now. And this, although this is a natural glow on my cheeks from the snow, it is also a glow because I am just really purely happy with where I am living. So I want to bring you through a little exercise today. This is just an example of some larger scale things that we'll do here with DeStress Life, and hopefully it will help you think outside the box a little bit as far as your own life goes. So first, I just want you to kind of draw awareness to your shoulders and to your neck. We hold a lot of tension there. I come from a background of also teaching rehabilitative Pilates and physical therapy, and I know from doing massage and from working with all different professions, so much tension comes up here. So I just want you to kind of roll back those shoulders, let them drop down a little bit, or at least feel where they're sitting on your body. And the same with your neck. You can just kind of feel at your neck a little bit. Mine's gonna be a tiny bit tense right now because I'm out in the cold. Hopefully you're somewhere warm, maybe in front of a fireplace. But I just want you to kind of draw attention to soothing out those neck muscles. And so we're just gonna, this is 3 steps. We're gonna start with thinking about your immediate space. So if you're watching this right now, I hope that you're somewhere comfortable. Maybe you're in your office, maybe you're in your bedroom at home. But I want you to think about your immediate space where you go to when you need to unwind. And I want you to think about what that space looks like. Does that space reflect who you are? If a stranger walked into that space, what could they tell about you? Does that space have things in it that make you feel good? Maybe you like arts and craft projects. You know, do you have little wreaths up? Do you have scrapbooking materials available? Do you have modern art? Do you have pictures of vacations, of things that make you feel good? Do you have little Post-its with your dreams on it? I want you to start thinking about where you're spending a lot of your time and how you can bring more of yourself into that space. Because if we're there on a regular basis, really what you're putting around you and surrounding yourself with can have a really big impact, even if you're not thinking about it. Again, going back to the beach, I don't get to come to the beach every single day, but knowing that I'm near it is just a naturally soothing thing for me. So that's the first thing, is we're thinking about your immediate space. And for some of you, if you're living in a smaller apartment, or maybe you're a roommate somewhere, you may not feel like you have your own little space. And I would really encourage you to try to come up with something, even if it's at your dresser, just some little space that makes you feel like it's your own. Again, I lived in Queens. I was living with 2 other people. I definitely did not feel like I had my own space. It was very tight quarters, but I was able to kind of carve out a little nook in the closet, and it was a place where I put things that made me feel good, and I was able to unwind a little bit just from knowing that that space was there. It was where I kept my journal and books that really kept me positive during difficult times. Okay, so that's step number 1, thinking about the immediate space. Okay, so step 2 is thinking about the type of place that you're living in. Are you living in a condo, an apartment, a house? Maybe you're living on a houseboat. If you're living on a houseboat, that's awesome, and I seriously need to come visit. One of my long life goals is to at some point have my address be on a houseboat. So I just want you to think about the type of space that you're living in, and does that work for you? Do you have a backyard? If not, is a backyard something that you wish that you did have? Do you have a porch? If not, is a porch something that would add a little space to your life and you would love to be able to go out and have a sip of coffee out on that porch? Do you feel like you have enough space? Do you have too much space? Sometimes that can happen as well. So again, we're just thinking about where you are. Nothing needs to change right now, but it's just great to think about this for the future. Last step, and what I personally believe is the most important step, and something that we forget about a lot, is where are you living in the world? Are you living in the suburbs? Are you living in the city? In the desert? Do you live near water? What country do you live in? And then I really want you to draw attention to how are you feeling where you're living? This is a free country. You can live wherever you want within this country, within this world. So I want you to really think about if where you are in the world is giving you everything that you need. Again, for me, it took me moving to Queens to realize I think that I need nature in my life, and I didn't really realize it until I was deprived of that. So I would encourage you to think about where you are, and maybe down the road, if you're not getting what you need out of where you're living, maybe that's something to look into for the future. Again, we're just kind of vision boarding out loud here. So it's getting a little chilly out here in Connecticut. Although I love the snow, I just wanted to do a quick intro for you guys for DeStress Life and give you some thoughts to chew on as we prepare our next video. I'll be putting out videos weekly on Sundays. I hope that it's something positive for you that can help you start your week on a positive note, and something that you can come back to whenever you need to. If you're feeling down, we're here. Again, we have lots of articles that are coming up and a lot of experts that we will be connecting with for you to hopefully give you an idea of everything that's out there that can help you. And again, the self-development piece of DeStress Life is there, and it's so important because the more we can look at the big picture of your life, the more we can see what we can maybe tweak to pull out a little bit of that stress and pull out a little bit of that depression and kind of get away from those chronic negative feelings. The more we can develop in your life into exactly what you want, the more positive you'll feel on a regular basis. So from Stamford, Connecticut, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really excited to bring you some amazing content in 2016, and have a positive week, sunshine. Bye.